Test. All right, greetings, hello. My name is Aaron. In the past, I had expressed that I was going to try to give a little bit of information into my process as to how I learn songs. The word process is pretty generous. I don't really have much of a process as far as it's very different from song to song. And so what I'm going to do is just show you one place where I think I use the most processed type of learning to figure something out. And that was, I guess this video you could kind of describe as the one I think most people could do if they realize the resources that they have available to them and have a cursory knowledge of like chord shapes and things like that. And that video is the perfect parts, which I have pulled up. I'm going to go over a few other parts of what I used. So I'll just take you through like the whole process. Hang on. Let me get the chord sheet, because the chord sheet is where I started. What I first explored when it came to what is he doing in this song. And it gives you the riff here. That's helpful. But I found this part of the so yeah, it looks like he's playing mostly bar chords. That's what this guy says. This is not so helpful if you're trying to actually sound like Shaky Graves, because while he is playing E minor and C and G and things like that, he's playing those chords, but it's not helpful when you listen. If you just play like a normal old E minor, it sounds kind of right, but also you can hear some kind of difference in that chord and what Shaky's actually doing. So in this scenario, I would take a look at what he's doing live. See where the song starts. There it is, right there. So you can tell straight from the get that when you're playing regular E minor, your hand's way down here, near the nut. His hand is past the 5th fret, and so if you do some thinking, where can you play E minor past the 5th fret? Well, you can play it here at the 7th fret with your E minor bar chord, but you can also hear, well, you can't hear because I don't really know how to get sound from the YouTube thing to my computer, but that's okay. You can hear, it doesn't sound like that either, so it actually sounds closer to this, because you can hear those open strings ringing. So like it definitely doesn't sound like this, but his hand is up there. So what he's doing, if you notice, when you play this like low E minor, you only have 2 strings fretted. The second frets of your A and D string. So there's a lot of open notes ringing out. So what I'm guessing Shaking was thinking when he played this chord, or thought of a different way to play E minor, is, well, you have E minor up here, you still have E in the bass with your low E string. Maybe I can open up this bar chord to more of like a bar fragment and play it that way. That's the weirdest frequency. There's weird frequencies in it. But I made a mistake already. Okay, I hadn't played this song in a while, and I'm going to use that as an excuse. This part is not just an E. I said E major power chord, which was wrong because it's E minor, and also my finger was in the wrong place in this part, and then in a subsequent part, in a part further down the video, my finger's in the right place, but it is an E minor kind of bar chord fragment, but instead of playing the E minor bar chord at the 7th fret of your A string, or E minor power chord at the 7th fret of your A string and the 9th fret of your D string, you're playing the 9th fret of your G string. So you're getting this like D in there, which is a E minor 7 chord. So you're really playing this E minor open 7 type thing, because that is the note that he is like highlighting throughout this whole verse section, is that until he goes to G. So I just wanted to make that clear, because I was gonna like subtitle it, but I made like 3 mistakes at the same time, so I just we'll throw this in there, and then this will go back to the original video. So that's what he's doing. He's basically just opening that bar chord up to this, what is really an E major power chord, adding that root note, and then playing the notes under it, which coincidentally is also an E minor chord. So yeah, if you are familiar with your chords, what notes are in them, where you can find those notes on the fretboard, take a look at what he's doing live, look at the chord charts, and all these things amalgamated together are what result in my process. And it's different for each song, you know, like Not Everything Grows was a bit of a challenge because it's kind of a newer Shaky Grave song. Not a lot of resources out there, no chord charts, and it's not even really, it's got chords in it, but it also has that weird riff in the beginning. It's in a weird time signature, so it was kind of hard. That took more ear and guesswork, basically. Like just finding the tuning for that song took forever. But that's because I really wanted to learn that song, which is another part of this that may not seem important, but it is important. It's just motivation. Like if you want to learn a song, you'll sit down for a long time and try to learn it because there's something about it that you really want to learn. And so yeah, so Shaky's doing this E minor. I saw that, and then the next chord in the chord chart is C. Oh, I don't want to sign up for anything. Hang on. Oh, I can't. Hang on, I gotta extend this window. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Then unextend the window. Okay, there we go. It's just taking a little corner of my screen right now. Okay, so what's my pick? E minor like this, and then the next chord's C, which is correct. But C, if you just see a C, most people are just gonna do that. Play your cowboy C. And it's not a cowboy C because if we watch what Shaky's doing here, he's going from that E minor. Oh, I can't see. Maybe he'll do it here. E minor. Still. So you can see his hands are not moving. Well, they're moving, but they're not going down here. He's staying in the same position, so. And you can see also that he did a walk up. He just reached up to the 7th fret, which is B, and then just went to C on the 8th fret. So you know you're going to play C somewhere around the 8th fret. And then from there, you just kind of use your ear to deduce, like, okay, what is he playing? I actually found kind of a little bit of a mistake here. Because when I first did the tutorial, I thought he was doing like this mini bar on the 7th fret, which works, and actually I think it's kind of cool, but he's not. He's just leaving those E and B strings open, and so he's actually getting like this C major 7 sound more like it, and he's emphasizing this note a lot. Oh wait, I'm using the wrong note. This note a lot. So he's going E minor. Emphasizing that. What is that? It's my 9th fret G string. And then the next chord in the chord chart is G, and that's right. It is G. It is a straight up G. I usually just do both third frets of my E strings, 3rd fret low and high E string. But then it's not as simple as it's just G, because if we watch what Shaky Graves does here, G. And then he goes way up to what is still a G, but it's a different way to play G. It's actually like what I referred to. Sorry, hang on. What I referred to as the Blackbird chord, because if you play Blackbird, I hope I can still. I can't play it anymore. It's the same chord. It's like this G at the 10th fret. It starts at the 10th fret. You're using your 10th fret G, 10th fret at the A string is G as your root note, and then you have open D, open G, and then B at the 12th fret of your B string, just the octave of your B. So you're starting at this G, and you're sliding way up to the 12th fret. I'm in an uncomfortable position. You get the idea. Going back to that C. this song. But yeah, and then he's just going back to that same 8th fret C thing. And then back to E minor. So back to 8th fret C thing. And then he starts singing the verses over all that. And then he goes to the chorus, which is that's a pretty easy thing to figure. It was fairly easy to figure out because it's really just an E minor with the riff over the top of it. So. But if we look at the chord chart, I found open your machine. And this, I don't think this chord chart's even really right. Like he's got B minors and A's here, and I don't hear that or see that. I mean, I guess he's technically kind of doing a B minor when he does like his walk up thing. But it's just, oh, I want too many drinks. I found open your machine. Open your machine. Your things over. And that part's not right either. See, it's just E minor, B to C. It's C to B. But we don't have to worry about it. That's other things you can, I don't know. You can find mistakes in these things because they are frequent. Yep. That's the verse. Well, I've been living here for you. Yeah, there was no E. G to G to C. And then, so I guess a little tidbit of information here is this is a normal E minor. So always make sure you're not using the same E minor. Like if you learn that he's using this E minor for the verse, you might want to go back to it. But he's actually using an open E minor for this so he can do his riff. This is where you can see just what bar chords he's using. So there, if this were larger, it would be easier to see. It's in like a tiny corner of my screen, so I can't actually see that he's at the 8th fret right now, but I remember before I could see that he was at the 8th fret. And if you know your bar chord shapes, then you know that a bar chord at the 8th fret is a C, unless you were doing like this bar chord shape at the 8th fret is a C. And then from there, he's just C, goes down a half step to B, and then to A, and then just starts the whole thing over. that's my process. There's no process. This is the answer to that question. It's just making use of the resources that you have available to you, and knowing cursory knowledge always helps. I mean, you need to know what these chord shapes look like in order to see them, to look at them and go, okay, that's what that chord is. You need to know, in this particular scenario, I needed to know a little bit about bar chords to know how he was manipulating bar chords to change them into different chords, or the same chords, but just kind of different chord voicings, and just where the notes are on the guitar, so that you can make use of those notes and understand how someone is playing something, maybe differently or the same. There's not a whole, there's not much of a methodology to it. It's just seeing what's available to you and trying your best based on whatever knowledge that you have. So that's that. I'll go ahead and end that there. I do want to shout out this brand new beautiful guitar that I just acquired. I don't want to say how much it was, but I do want to say this is my first what I would consider like high-end guitar. And I always thought high-end guitars were maybe not ridiculous, but I just thought they were a little overblown. I didn't see the need to spend that type of money. And I am even now being a high-end guitar owner, I'm still of the opinion that it's not the guitar. There are some major examples of people who are amazing players and who people love to listen to. Like Victor Wooten has a brother, not Victor Wooten. He plays like $10,000 basses, but Victor Wooten's brother is an amazing guitar player, and he plays like Squire Strats and things, which are great, and you can make them sound. It's not even that you can make them sound good; they sound fine, and they have a sound to them. Some people might even prefer that sound. So I've never been one to really like to put much stock in expensive instruments, but I've been playing this particular instrument. It's an Alvarez DY. It's a Yari Masterworks one, and he's just kind of amazing. DYM60HD. That's a long, convoluted name, but it's a great guitar. I've been playing it for like the last year, and something possessed me the last time I was there. Probably like the demon or spirit of irresponsibility. And I was just like, just give me that guitar, because it's so. And that's kind of a point I wanted to make about these things like this, like really expensive guitars, and not really, really expensive, like expensive guitars, high-end guitars, are not for audiences. They're for players, because audiences aren't the people who are going to pick out the nuances of your guitar sound. They kind of just want to hear good music, and you can make good music with anything, which is like a huge point I want to get across. All guitars, unless they literally have like buzzy notes or are missing frets or are broken in some way, are capable of producing good music. It's not the sound of the notes necessarily; it's the notes that you choose that are important when you're playing music. But I do love this guitar. It's amazing what high end, like handcrafted instruments feel like. Especially this one. I played all the expensive guitars that they had in there, especially acoustic guitars. I find expensive electric guitars kind of almost hit a ceiling for me. There's a certain point where it's just like, okay, you're just adding money to this. And I think a lot of electric guitar tones can be made better and modified very much in a way. You can put new pickups in a not, like I put new pickups in my Epiphone Les Paul, and it's like my favorite sounding guitar. I love it. And it sounds great. But acoustic guitars are a little different. You can't really modify them in any way, and there's a lot of care and attention that needs to be paid to their building, because they are, not complicated machines, but the process of building them can be complicated, and I'm sure there's a bunch of knowledge that goes into it that I just don't know about. And so they feel a little bit more like, I don't want to use the word like works of art, because that's kind of soppy, but they feel a little bit more knowledge and and work and care intensive as far as building them goes. So I think high end acoustic guitars actually, it's just different. This one, like, it just, the whole thing resonates. It like punches you in the, like, if you play with it up against your stomach, you can feel it like vibrating your stomach, and it's great. And it's so balanced throughout. It's like, throughout its whole range, and it's an amazing instrument, and it's beautiful. It's great to just like look at, and the finish on the back is like, I could literally like just rub it all day. It's kind of mesmerizing how like smooth it is. Like I've had I don't know what's on it, but it's, everything about it is just great. And yeah, that's I don't regret the the payment at all. Not at all. Not one bit. And that's the gosh darn truth. But that's all I'm gonna say about that. I just wanted to shout it out. Yari Masterworks. If you're looking for high-end acoustic guitars, check out Alvarez. Like, I played every Martin and every Taylor they had in that place, and I still came away with an Alvarez. There's something about them. And the guy at the counter told me that when they are building these particular Yari Masterworks guitars, when the wood is drying or aging or whatever they do to it, they play through like a loudspeaker Beethoven to the guitars. And so it's like this osmosis thing where these beautiful instruments just kind of pick up those frequencies and those sounds, and it infuses itself into the wood, and you just get like this, you get this Beethoven quality to its excellence, and it comes out in your playing. You will be Beethoven if you buy an Alvarez Yari Masterworks guitar. Also, if they want to, yeah, that's a shout out. If they want to sponsor me and send me more of them, that'd be great. But I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one. Anyway, that's all the rambling that needs to go on for today. I hope that this is helpful. A couple people asked me for videos on my process, and the honest to God hard truth is just, it's a matter of wanting to learn something and knowing a little bit about. I mean, it's just, there is no process. Like, you got to know your chords. You got to know the notes on your guitar. Being able to pick them out and watch someone play something and go, okay, that's the chord you're playing. That helps. Having a good ear helps in certain scenarios when you don't have more resources available to you, and knowing where the notes on your guitar and being able to tell when the ultimate guitar tab chord sheet is wrong is good, because that's how you start to sound like shaky. Like, you can play the perfect parts with those chords, just the cowboy chords, but it's gonna be totally different. And maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want to do a cowboy chord version of the perfect parts, make it into like a bluegrass song or something. So, and that would be cool. Somebody do that. But but yeah, there's certainly no secret. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it, I suppose. But that's that. I'm gonna call it there. It's a Monday. Hope everybody has a good week, and I'll catch you later.